All that kind of stuff like confidence and self-love and knowing your worth, all that kind of stuff is so important, obviously, but there has been one thing that has made the biggest difference and has been the biggest game changer for me when it comes to not caring what others think about me. There's one little secret that has helped me the most. Hello friends and welcome back. If you're new around here, my name is Jills and I talk about all things feminine energy, self-improvement, and wellness for women. So if that's something you want to learn more about, be sure to hit the red subscribe button below as well as the notification bell so you don't miss when I put out any new videos. So in this video, I'm going to give you the secret, at least in my opinion, for how to stop caring so much about what other people think of you. But first of all, I think it's important to realize that wanting to be well-liked, it's within our human nature. You know, way back in the day, the way we survived and the way we thrived was by being a part of a group. And if we didn't have a group and we lived alone, we'd probably die or get eaten pretty quickly. So to an extent, I do think this is slightly hardwired into us. And you know, we want to have friends. We want to be a part of a community. We are social beings. And so I don't know if we can ever 100% completely get rid of this feeling. I just don't know if that's possible or even necessary. But the problem becomes when these thoughts start to control our life. They impact the decisions we make, how we act, how happy we are, how we go about our life. And we start living a life that's no longer aligned to us because we care more about what others think of us than we do about what we think of ourselves in our own life. If I let other people's opinions of me dictate my life, then I would not be nearly as happy as I am, and I definitely wouldn't be putting myself out there on the internet making videos. And I think not obsessing over what people think about you is one of the quickest ways to inner peace and one of the easiest ways to start attracting in the right situations, the right experiences, the right opportunities, the right people into your life. So with that said, the secret to stop caring so much about what other people think of you is this. The more you judge and criticize others, the more you'll worry that others are judging or criticizing you. I really do believe this, and if that is a little bit hard for you to hear, then you may possibly be the person who needs to hear that the most, and I say that with tons and tons of love. So again, this was huge for me, so let's talk about it. Take a step back and reflect more on yourself for a second. You know, how do you view others? Are you judgmental and critical of others? Do you care too much about what other people are doing with their life and what they're up to? You know, are you heavily stalking people on social media? Are you secretly competing with people and comparing yourself against other people? If you're worried about what others think of you, it's likely that you're probably thinking way too much about them. And consequently, the less you think about others and the less you judge and criticize others, the less concerned you'll be with what others think about you. For example, if you heavily judge people for the car they drive, then you will be overly concerned with what people think of you and your car. If you base a person's worth off of their beauty and their physical attributes, then you will be overly concerned with if people think you are beautiful or not, and you will be greatly affected by any comments that have to do with your appearance. So truly everything is just a reflection of our inner world. And I think that as a society, now of course this is just a generalization, but as a society, we place most of our value and our worth on these very external things and the things we achieve. You know, how much money we have, what kind of house we live in, how beautiful we are, what kind of job you have, what college you went to, and so on. And we place less value on the more internal things, like how much we love and care for others, how good of a friend we are, how good of a mother we are. And so to be considered a valuable member of society and to be deemed worthy, we feel like we have to have, you know, like the most or the best of something, like the most impressive career, be the most beautiful, have the most money, whatever it is. And so because of this, we are constantly checking in with others and seeing what other people are up to because we want to see how we stack up and how we compare. And sometimes this isn't even always a conscious thing. But if we get caught in the trap of thinking this way, then we become overly concerned with other people and we become overly concerned with what people are thinking about us. And I can guarantee you that people are thinking less about you and your life than you realize, and the things that you are dwelling over, people are probably not thinking about them for more than a few seconds, if at all. But don't get me wrong, sometimes there are some people out there who do spend too much of their time judging you and your life, but if that's the situation, that is never a reflection of you, that is always a reflection of them. And once you start judging others less, you'll be able to see this more clearly for what it is and not be so affected by it. You know, your mindset will change to one more of love, acceptance, and compassion. You'll be able to see that these judgments often come from a place of pain or hurt or fear, or just people projecting their own insecurities on you. And instead of feeling totally broken by these hurtful comments, you might start feeling maybe a little ounce of sympathy or compassion. Our inner world creates our outer world. So if we spend a huge chunk of our energy judging others, then we'll feel as though this judgment is coming right back to us, even if it's not. And we will be so heavily affected by any sort of judgment that does come our way, because we will place other people's thoughts and opinions as a priority in our life. I think something that's important to remember is that our reality is really just a perception of ourselves and the world around us. And this perception influences how we live our life. It influences what we think we can achieve, what we think we can do, what decisions we make, how we act. And I mean, this is kind of similar to the law of attraction, right? So if you focus more on love and supporting others, the more that you will see this come right back to you, because the more you bring attention to something, the more that something shows up in your life. So how do you view other people around you? When you see people succeed and do cool things, are you a little bit bitter about it, or are you just genuinely happy for them? And when you see people having a harder time and maybe in the midst of a personal failure, do you feel a little bit relieved because you feel like you're doing better than them? Or do you wish them well? And I would say the people in my life who worry the most about what other people think of them are generally the people who worry the most about others and are oftentimes the most judgmental. And so, like I said in the beginning, there are obviously other components to this, like having real self-love, self-worth, and confidence. And I have videos on these topics, but I guarantee you that the less you think about others and the less judgmental and critical you are of others, the less concerned you will be with what other people think of you, and the kinder you will be to yourself over time. If you feel like people are constantly judging or criticizing you, and you feel like you're very heavily affected by other people's thoughts and opinions, and you're always worried about what other people think of you, then I really encourage you to take a step back for a second and reflect on yourself first. Because remember, your outer world is always just a reflection of your inner world. Be kind, be loving, and you will notice that that love will start to come right back to you, and you will be far less concerned with what other people have to say. Please let me know if you think this resonates with you at all. I think this was a really big turning point for me when it comes to my growth and my happiness, and so I hope that this was valuable and maybe offered a little bit of a different perspective on the whole situation. If you enjoyed this video and did find it valuable, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. I'd love for you to join our small but growing community. Before you go, don't forget to check out these 2 videos as well if you haven't already. But besides that, I will see you in the next video. Bye, friends!